Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Madden NFL 25 New Orleans Saints franchise. I know you're surprised to see me here back-to-back days of episodes, but I did say last episode that we are going to try to get this next one out the next day. So last week, ended up suffering our first loss since week 2, and it was to the Atlanta Falcons, where Michael Penix put the heat on us. 4 touchdowns, he had well over 400 yards. He killed us. Derek Carr didn't have that bad of a game, but the turnovers made the difference. Kendrick Miller stepped up. We could not defend the receivers on this team. Eric Fulcher did end up getting his first interception on the season. Now sitting 4-2. In this episode, I also said I was going to cover the bye week and week 8 of the season, trying to double things up. I didn't want the bye week to be his own episode. I thought it just made a lot more sense. As I look around the league, Derek Carr does lead the league in most yards, and he's number 3 in touchdown numbers, only trailing, of course, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. I mean, they're like that. But unfortunately, Derek Carr is number 2 in the interception numbers, tied with Malik Willis, only trailing Lawrence House, who, as we've seen throughout this year, has been very inconsistent. Malik Willis, I don't believe is the starter for the Packers. I think it's Jordan Love, but he seems to get about the similar amount of snaps. And obviously, we've seen in week 5, his worst game was against the Panthers, where he threw 4 interceptions. And he's only had one game where he's had more touchdowns than interceptions, so he's been very inconsistent. And the Packers record shows that as well. Looking around the league for some of the young quarterbacks, Preston Kennedy, only 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Brandon Monroe, who we've seen already this year, has a good stat line. Same with Mark O'Neal, who I don't believe will play this year, but I don't know off the top of my head. Lawrence House is struggling a bit. Dak Prescott putting some strong numbers, only 2 interceptions on the year. Bryce Young has been up and down, but he has been solid in terms of stat line. The Panthers just aren't getting a lot of wins. Jalen Hurts doing Jalen Hurts things, not really scoring a whole lot of touchdowns. Jared Goff, of course, really excelling. 14 touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence is honestly not that terrible in the AFC South that doesn't really have a strong number 1 contender, if you ask me. Especially since the Texans aren't exactly running away with the division. But this is our first big look at some of the stats involving our quarterbacks. Andy Richardson surprisingly isn't playing all that well. Neither is Justin Herbert. And honestly, surprisingly, neither is Jaden Daniels, who started the year off really hot. And he's been struggling. Justin Fields is a big one that kind of catches my eye for the Steelers. 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And his completion percentage isn't exactly that strong. He's been very inconsistent for the Steelers. Expect them to potentially find a new quarterback for year 2 when that rolls around. As we do know, the Steelers currently hold the number 1 pick, at least as of right now, with the records being as they may. But they are projected to go with a quarterback, but they potentially could. Justin Fields has not had that breakout year that the Chicago Bears or himself have really been looking for. I think he could step up, but he just needs that bit of a spark. I think the Steelers have a solid receiving core for him to play around with, but he just hasn't taken advantage of it. The Steelers currently are losing a lot more games than they're winning. We did also look at the running back stats. Kendrick Miller is having a turnaround year. He started the year off kind of slow, but 3 straight games he's ran over 100 yards, and the last 2 he's ran over 150. He currently sits at number 2 in rushing yards, only trailing Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks, who's been breaking the stat line apparently. And Kendrick Miller is at least top 10 in touchdown numbers. We see quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Dak Prescott, and of course Lamar Jackson on this list as well. Cameron Snead was someone I kind of eyed. I'm surprised Saquon Barkley has so little touchdown numbers for the Eagles, and even Derrick Henry, who's not had that many numbers. But the Ravens, one thing's for sure, they are winning a lot of football games because they're the Ravens. They're gonna do stuff like that. And that surprised me. Even Brian Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs are guys that surprisingly are really moving. Nick Chubb on the rushing yard list. For the receivers, Puka Nacua for the Rams ranks number 1, of course, because he's one of the best young receivers in the league. Chris Olave sits at number 2. We find Marquez Valdez-Scantling at number 3, despite Chris Olave missing last week against the Falcons. He's still ranked in the top 5, which you love to see. Devontae Adams is within the top 10. You see Brandon Ayuk, Allen Lazard, with only 1 touchdown. Zay Flowers is on this list as well in the top about 20-30 receivers. Drake London, who is top 5 in receptions, but very low on the touchdown and receiving yards list. Devontae Adams, the vet, ranks number 3. Marcus Valdes-Scantling is within the top 5, which you love to see. Kind of hate that Chris Olave doesn't have that many touchdowns so far, but I think he's going to in time. Look at the tackle for loss numbers. Carl Granderson has 110. He played with double digits up to this point. He does have a few good play in a few weeks ago. He did have the 3-sack success. Darnell Katie as well. He had a number last week as well. Hate to say it. For the sack numbers, and I'm glad that Madden fixed this. You don't have to switch between the NFC and AFC anymore. You can look in the entire NFL. Aiden Hutchinson is number 1 on this list. DeMarcus Lawrence is ranked number 4. And surprisingly, TJ Watt is not in the top 3, but number 5. Carl Granderson does rank in the top 10, 4.5. Von Miller is also surprisingly in the top 10. I didn't even know he was still in the league, to be honest. I don't know if he's in the league in real life, but he is here. But he is up there. Yaya Diaby, of course, is up there too. Remember, I said he had 3 sacks against us. As for the interception numbers, Cameron Bullock, Jerome Baker, and Jordan Blackman currently all tied for 4. They're quite a few interceptions about halfway through the year. A lot of guys with 3. Patrick Queen and AJ Terrell have 2. Jordan Howard, he's got 2 as well. He's been stepping up to the plate. This year for us, he's already reached star development. He had normal development coming into this year. And we have the statistics. We haven't really taken a huge look at these as of yet, with it being the bye week. We got to. The Ravens and the Cowboys are currently the only undefeated teams in the NFL. The 49ers, teams around that area, only have 1 loss. So we are in the top 10, so we wouldn't be in the playoffs if the playoffs were to start. As for the worst teams, the Steelers, Bears, and Packers currently only 1 win so far on the year. They have the worst record so far. Steelers are a team that surprised me most, and even the Packers, they're not playing all that well. As we split things up, if the playoffs were starting out, as I said, we would win the NFC South. We'd be probably the number 4 team. I'm not sure, since Madden isn't always accurate with these rankings. But the Eagles are atop the NFC as well. They trail the Cowboys. Division by division, the Ravens currently hold the AFC lead. As you mentioned, the Steelers are struggling. The Browns aren't playing all that bad. They are 3-3, so they are right now in contention. The Colts hold the lead in the AFC South, while the Texans, Jaguars, and Titans aren't really that far away. Honestly, I think this is the best division in the AFC. The Bills are going to be dominant every year in the AFC East. I think that just makes sense. The Jets are the only team that seem to have any sort of leeway. The Dolphins are struggling really heavily. The Chiefs, they're going to lead the AFC West 9 times out of 10 every year. The AFC West doesn't really have a whole lot of competition. The Raiders are the closest there is, but the Broncos are struggling heavily. They're 1-4, and I don't see them really making any sort of ground. They're currently ranked as one of the worst teams in the league. The NFC North, probably the strongest division in the NFC. The Lions and the Vikings are currently competing for first place, while the Bears and the Packers are combined 1 for 10 on the year. They've been really disappointing. Actually, 2 for 10. Apparently, I can't count. And currently, the Saints hold the lead in the NFC South. They did lose to the Falcons last week, so we'll see how things shake up there. And the NFC East is currently held by the Cowboys, but the Eagles and the Commanders aren't really too far away. The Giants are the only team that are really the outliers. In NFC West, the 49ers currently hold the lead there, 5-1 on the year. The Rams and Seahawks realistically are right there, and the Cardinals aren't that far away, but realistically, I don't see the Cardinals really making a lot of headway there because the Cardinals kind of suck. Sorry, Arizona fans. I did want to take this bye week, though, to also look at the prospects as well, since we haven't really looked at them since, I believe, week 4, but my memory is terrible. But now that we have a little more information on them, maybe we can give ourselves an idea of who exactly we want to try to pick up in the draft. With us losing this game against the Falcons, and like I said, us getting deeper into the season, we'll just have an idea of where we stand is my number one option at corner. I know we have McKinstry and Paulson and Debo, but we need that number 3. Our secondary struggles very heavily, and especially zone and man coverage. I think every offer can potentially fill that role. Because honestly, our cornerback position is a little dry, not super heavy. We're also looking at Bob Winslow essentially take that spot if Evan Alford doesn't become our first or second round pick. As far as quarterbacks go, Charlie Edwards is at the top of the list. He's projected to be the first and only quarterback taken in the first round. Do I see us getting a quarterback? Not really. We have Spencer Rattler and Cam Akers, but there's also potential. So that's a possibility. He could play very poorly. There's Caleb Burrows, who's also a candidate for the first round, early second round. So since a lot of teams in the league right now don't really need a quarterback, and we're one of those teams where it's a little bit questionable at quarterback. Go back to the defense. Dalton Shelby, a nice edge rusher on the left side, who does have a little bit of promise. I see him also making his way in the first round. But do I see us picking him up? I see us more going for Chauncey Butler. We need a little more info on really the defensive line, because we're not focused too heavily on that. I think our D-line is pretty good where it is, but if Cam Jordan does end up retiring, you kind of have to find his replacement. And maybe Ryan Breesy could be that guy. As far as the secondary goes, Vernon Milstead. I know that Jordan Howard is playing really well this year, but we need a backup. Isaiah Simmons hasn't really stepped into the play, and never know what could happen to Jordan Howard. He could regress, he could play poorly. So we need to find a shortstop. Strong safety. Free safety with a Christie and a Blair. Free safety isn't really a position that's taken by anyone. I know we have Tyrann Mathieu, he's 32, on the verge of potentially retiring, so we have to figure out a potential replacement. If he does that, of course, I'll end up potentially start with it if he progresses too heavy. As finally, we are going to look at Von Bird, another corner. He's projected to be potentially late second day, late kind of pick. I see this someone we could potentially get in the draft as well, but with how many players are there, certainly a lot of options. So we'll look down. Last episode, we also talked about potential trade options with, being the bye week and everything. Now, maybe it's time that we make a move. Last week, we didn't have a lot of players available because majority of them were injured, but now we do. The two guys that were heavily on my mind were Trevor Penning and Ryan Ramczyk. Trevor Penning, he is young. He's a 75 overall. Doesn't have a whole lot of playing time, and he hasn't played supremely poorly with the playing time that he has. But it's a possibility that he does not play all that well. Plus, he's got an expiring contract and could potentially leave if he doesn't like the contract that we give him, or we don't want to pay him too much. There's Ryan Ramczyk, making some of the most money on this team. He's an 80+ overall, star in development. But throughout his career, I don't know how accurate this is, but he's been injured throughout basically his entire career, and for most of this year, he's only played 2 games. He's also got an expiring contract. He's making $12 million. I don't see us really re-signing him, because God forbid he's going to want a bigger contract than that, and I don't think that's something we really want to give him. Look at deals from Ryan Ramczyk, and these deals are pretty okay. The Bears, Juju Smith-Schuster, the Bengals are offering us Brown. We're looking mainly for a team that obviously is a playoff contender, with him only having 1 year left on his contract. So teams like the Jaguars, maybe the Lions, potentially the Jets, although the Jets are playing really terrible. The Patriots, who can make some noise in the AFC, the Vikings. Teams around that spread. Robinson is a good top pick on Trey Tucker from the Raiders. I don't think it would be too bad. Laviska Shenault for the Steelers, actually, in my opinion, would be quite a steal. I actually like Laviska Shenault for the Seahawks. We're playing this pretty well so far. I think he'd be a great addition. And Roger McCree from the Titans. And we decided to make a deal with the Houston Texans. Ryan Ramczyk for Isaiah Rodgers. We ended up going with the pick for next year for the 4th round, and that trade is accepted. So Ryan Ramczyk is headed to Houston to help cover CJ Stroud, and we end up getting Isaiah Rodgers to beef up this secondary a little bit more. Is he going to be playing? Surprisingly, he's going to be playing over Khalid McKinstry. Khalid McKinstry has been playing pretty okay capability of the slot corner, I think he will fill that role indefinitely. And it really helped us out because, like I said, second has been struggling. Hugo Amadi's had some decent plays there with Alante Taylor, but they're not consistent. Now close out the bye week as we head into week 8 Thursday night football to take on the Patriots. But first, let's take a look at some games around the league. Colin Anthony and the Vikings get shredded by the Lions. 4 interceptions for Colin Anthony did not have a great night against the divisional rivals. TJ Hawkinson couldn't get a win against his former team. Mike Hilton with 2 interceptions in this ball game, and they just absolutely destroyed them on paper. The Miami Dolphins, they had Carolina's number. They lose by 28. Carolina loses, I believe, their 6th game of the season. They're struggling a lot, which Carolina is used to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. It's been proven. Miami's also very poor this year. I think they'd be playing a lot better, but they're not. They lost us so far this year. Houston Texans unfortunately lose their first game to Isaiah Rodgers and the Seahawks, 31-28. It was not a blowout. It was a closely contested game against 2 teams who could be Super Bowl contenders in the near future, if you ask me. As you look, Ryan Ramczyk didn't allow any sacks. That's fine. The Baltimore Ravens just get by the Cincinnati Bengals 21-18. A matchup you all know all too well between Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. And yeah, Lamar Jackson will take the reins. The Green Bay Packers are actually going to win 22 points in the 4th quarter, and they get by Cleveland 38-32. That's probably wrong. It's actually 38-28. I can't read. But Josh Jacobs has a pretty solid game, and Stephen Morris, the rookie, with over 100 yards receiving for James Hayes and the Browns. The Giants get by the Chicago Bears this time around. Lawrence House with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The Caleb Williams with another terrible game. Wanda Moore over 100 yards receiving. And the Giants are on quite the roll so far. They've won 3 straight games. A low-scoring affair. We'll see the New England Patriots next. They lose 14-12 to the Jets. And Brandon Monroe. Pretty close matchup. I think these two are pretty evenly contested in the AFC West. Sorry, East. I'm sorry, my memory is terrible. But I think both these teams could in the future be contenders in the AFC East. But this year, no. Josh Allen. The Indianapolis Colts lose to the Steelers 26-20. It went to overtime. This is a matchup I'd like to see on Thursday or Friday nights. But it ended up with Justin Fields finally picking up a victory, his 2nd on the year, as the Steelers continue to struggle. Preston Kennedy loses to Trevor Lawrence, the first time these two have met up, I believe, this year. Don't quote me on that. Both had pretty solid outings, but in the end it went to Jacksonville, who currently holds the lead in the AFC South. This will be a matchup down the line when playoffs become more important, like obviously now. Keelan McCord with 2 sacks in this ball game. That'll be the last we see of Week 7. Look at the injuries for the Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson is going to be out, so they are going to have to play their rookie running backs. And their highest overall player, 90 overall, Christian Gonzalez, with 3 interceptions so far on the year. He's bested his numbers from the year before. And then there's Hunter Henry. He's been a long-time New England Patriot. He's the highest overall receiver on the squad, and I don't think he leads the team in receiving. That much is so. But he's had quite the 6-year stint in New England. And their team led by Drake Maye, the 2nd-year quarterback, who's on pace to have about, well, I guess it depends on the way you look at it, worse or better numbers than he did the year before. More yards, more touchdowns, but more interceptions, which I think on paper that actually pretty good for a year 2 quarterback that's not Tom Brady, as the Patriots look to find the future Tom Brady. Drake Maye has had a solid year so far. The interception numbers are big, but the touchdown numbers are just as better if you ask me. But I think the standout thing with the New England Patriots is their defense, similar to the Falcons, and it's the entire defense. Christian Barmore, Ty Cooks is also a part of this defense. Drafted him, and he's been good. He has 2 sacks so far. He leads the right side of the field, they got Devin Bush, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, Jelani Tavai, who headlines some of the back three. And then a loaded secondary with Marcus Jones, Christian Gonzalez, who we already talked about, Caleb Farley, I think, is a steal. And they also have Jabril Peppers on this team as well, and Kyle Duggar. So let's just say this is going to be a terrible team to throw the ball against. If you ask me, we already had a tough time doing it against the Falcons, and I think this is going to be definitely no different. The Patriots come to this from one of the higher ranked defenses in the league as they take on one of the best offenses as well in us. But maybe that's all just talk for us, because recently our defense has kind of been denying how good our offense has been. Look at the stats around the league, pass defensive wise. The Cowboys have the best run defense. We're not in the top 10 either, but the Patriots do a good job at defending that run game, which is somewhat our bread and butter on this team with how Kendre Miller has been playing as of late. He also allows some of the most points around the league, which is not ideal. The sack numbers were pretty good in that department, same with the Patriots. They're pretty solid. They are in the top half of the league, or the bottom half. We are in the top half. We're number 2 in getting sacks. But the Patriots lead the league in interceptions with 3 other teams as we make our way for Thursday night football as we go head-to-head at home against the New England Patriots. Chris Olave is back. I was going to say last week, but week 6 against the Atlanta Falcons. And he'll actually be back for this game, which we're glad he's here. We definitely missed him in that loss. Marcus Valdes-Scantling, as I've talked and glazed him a lot, he stepped up to the plate as being our number 2 receiver. Both teams coming off a loss. Well, technically not last week. The Saints coming off a loss against the Falcons in week 6. And the Patriots lost to the Jets last week. So both teams are looking to get back in the win column as we go underway for week number 8. In the 2025 season kickoff to the Patriots, it's going to be a touchback. And we'll get to see Drake Maye hit the field. He's been, dare I say, very solid this year. I mean, he's got 9 interceptions, 11 touchdowns. He's been a little inconsistent, and he's trying to get the Patriots back in the win columns. They've been struggling a little bit this year to do just that. First play, as the tackle is missed, that would have been a sack. Instead, Drake Maye able to get rid of it. And now we're on an incompletion. It's now 3rd and 10. Drake Maye is going to throw the ball yet again, and it's almost picked off. And that should have been Pete Warner's first interception. Instead, this will go to the Saints via a punt. But it's now 3rd and 8 for New Orleans. Derek Carr trying to buy some time. He'll run forward, use his legs to get the first down. Nice 14-yard gain for Derek Carr, who's had quite the year this year. We didn't show off his stats because we already kind of looked at them in the bye week, so we didn't really need to look at them. But handing out to Alexander Madison, he also makes his first game back since his injury, and he manages to get a first down. He's not starting. It's actually Kendre Miller that's starting, but he didn't really do much. But it's 3rd and 3. Derek Carr is going to try to throw it again. He finds Marcus Valdes-Scantling, who was just behind the line of scrimmage. It's now 4th and inches, and the Saints say, forget it, we're going to go for it. It's early in the game, got to make a statement. Hand off to Miller. He manages to get the first down, about 2-3 yards. Resets the downs. It's now 1st and 10. Inside the 35. Carr, play action fake. He's got a man open. It's Chris Olave inside the 10. Down around the 6. That's his first completion since his injury back in week 5. Well, actually during practice for week 6. But Derek Carr now to throw is 3rd and goal. Finds a MBS. And he'll be a yard short of the end zone. New Orleans won't go for it. They'll kick a field goal. It's good. So they'll take the 3-0 lead. And now we get a look at the Patriots. Hand off to Benjamin Levy, who's making the start over Ramondre Stevenson. Benjamin Levy is a rookie. Also to point out, 2nd and 9 now. He only managed to get 1. Derek Carr. Drake Maye trying to buy some time. Finds a man downfield. Beats 2 defenders. It's Kayshon Boutte. Or Boutte, however you want to say it. But as new set it downs, throws into the right side back to Boutte. And he only managed to get 2. That's a great touchdown saving tackle, but it's now 3rd and 4. The Saints struggle at stopping 3rd down. You see they do it yet again. It's a 1st down inside the 5 for the Patriots. That's a 1st down that they move the chains. They're now down at the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal. Drake Maye to the left side. That's caught near the sideline. And that will be a touchdown for the Patriots. It's Kayshon Boutte. I don't know if I'm putting an emphasis on it, but I'm going to say it like that until someone corrects me. But the Patriots will take the lead as the refs do review it. I think it is ruled a touchdown nonetheless. In real time, the slow motion in Madden's always been terrible at these. But I think he is in. He gets both feet in. I think that's a touchdown. And the refs are going to say it is. They'll keep with the call. And New England does score the first touchdown of the game. It's now 7-3. The Saints will get the ball back. 2:50 left in the first quarter. This guy Isaiah Rodgers who makes the return. He'll take it to the 30. The newly acquired New Orleans Saint. We traded Ramczyk for this player, for this guy. And look at the rushing stats. Kendre Miller, he was number 2 last week. He's now number 3, but he's still in the top 5. Kenneth Walker still remains at number 1. 2nd and 9. Play action fake for Carr. Trying to find him, man. He won't. He'll use his legs again. He'll reach about close to midfield. That's another 1st down for Derek Carr. As he uses the wheels he's got, because he's known as Derek Vehicle. To some people at least. Another play action play for Carr. He's going to do it again. He'll get 6 this time around. It's now 2nd and 4. Saints now going down the field. Carr up the middle. That is intercepted. Downfield. That's Jabril Peppers who makes the pick. There is an injury on the field for the Saints offensive line. And that's just a bad throw by me. Yes, I'm breaking the 4th wall, but it is me. You can't throw it in that position. The receiver doesn't have a step over. I thought it would have stayed one-on-one. We had Joe Levert wide open on the right side. It was 1st down, so realistically we could have took that throw. But you want to take a chance. He's in front. I didn't think that Peppers would come down and take it off. But that happens. It's now interception number 12 for Carr, which, as we know, I believe currently is 2nd now. That's a nice throw by Drake Maye up the middle for Boutte. Again, gets the 1st down. He's been his favorite target today. And not Hunter Henry, who we talked about earlier. But that will end the first quarter. Already a turnover, and the Patriots looking dominant already downfield, up 7-3. The Saints have looked pretty bad to start the day off, but they're 4-2 for a reason. As we go to the second quarter, it's 3rd and 6 now for the Patriots. As May is going to find his man, but it won't be a 1st down. Good coverage by Shaq Thompson. There's only a yard for Benjamin Levy. That will result in a field goal kick to make it a 10-3 ball game. Kick almost blocked. The kick is up and good. As it's now a 10-3 game. Don't know how you missed that, but you got eyes like Helen Keller. That was terrible to say. The handoffs to Miller, Madison, he gets rocked. Lost only a gain of 2. Now reached 3rd and 1. Fullback dive for Foster Moreau, as he'll get the 1st down. We do like to make this call every now and again. I just shouldn't have made that Helen Keller joke. That was terrible. But 2nd and 6 now for the Saints. Derek Carr trying to buy some time. He'll use his legs again, and he'll fall forward for the 1st down. They're going to rule it a 1st down. You asked me, I think it was 3rd and inches, but I'm not going to complain about a free 1st down. They don't review it. 1st and 10 now for the Saints. Carr trying to buy some time. He finds his man. That's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That's a tight throw. I'd argue that probably should have been intercepted by Gonzalez. That was some pretty good coverage, and the last minute adjustment helps the 1st down for New Orleans. They find themselves in Patriots territory. New set of downs at the 33. Man in motion. Carr to try to throw again. He will miss Olave. That's wide to the right. And now 2nd and 10. Carvel missed those throws from time to time. He's alone in the backfield. He's going to go deep to the left side. Olave, that's incomplete. That's no good. That's Marcus Jones who made the play. Now 3rd and 10 in the same spot they started in. They're going to play action fake, try to make something happen. Carr with a man to the left side. That's picked off. Probably a terrible throw. Well, I mean, probably that's a terrible throw. Jelani Tavai picks it off. That's already the 2nd interception for Derek Carr in this game. And again, another bad throw by me. Tried to get it over his head, and that just didn't pan out, unfortunately. So now that's 13 interceptions for Derek Carr on the year. As it's now 10-3 in favor of the Patriots. Nice job defensively by Tyrann Mathieu to jar the ball loose. 3rd and 6, a halfback screen for Levy, and he will manage to get the first down. Good tackle, but not enough for Isaiah Rodgers Sr. Moves the chains and keeps the drive alive. It's now 1st and 10 at 35. Handoff to Benjamin Levy. He gets a first down. That's a nice forward progression by him. As he reached 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes left in the first half. Drake Maye to throw, checks it down. That's a nice throw to the right side. That's another first down. And the Kayshon Boutte again. 1st and 10 now again. Play action fake, made to the left side. That's incomplete. Kool-Aid McKinstry was there to knock the ball away. That's a nice throw by Drake Maye. But it's now 3rd and 10. Finds his man up the middle. That's caught for a first down. That's Kendrick Bourne who makes the play. And another 3rd down conversion for the Patriots. And another one that the New Orleans Saints let get away from them, because they do that. On the right side, that's a nice catch. Almost too far forward, but instead it results in a first down at the 9-yard line. The Patriots are moving the ball and they're moving it well. Another play, Benjamin Levy gets the handoff. He shakes and bakes and results down at the 4-yard line. It's now 2nd and goal. Drake Maye making some adjustments, right side wide open, and that's another touchdown for the Patriots. And they now built this deficit to 13. It's Kendrick Bourne. Terrible defense there by the New Orleans Saints. Then again, it's hard to defend in the red zone. 17-3, 3 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Carr trying to buy some time, finds Olave on the move. He'll get past midfield, and he'll lead down at the 41. And we definitely missed Olave. He's got a knack for being able to get wide open. 2 minutes left. We'll kick it to Valdez-Scantling. He gets a short gain of about 6, which will result in a 3rd and 2. You don't want to not convert here. Handoff to Madison, and he will barely get the first down. And we reached 3rd and 3 with 50 seconds left. The least we want to do is turn the ball over again for the 3rd time. I don't want to speak into existence, but I do. As we hand off to Miller, he's got nowhere to go. And the Patriots will use a timeout, surprisingly, to stop the clock, leaving us with 47 seconds. We're not going to risk it. We're going to try to kick the field goal. We are only in the first half, and there's still plenty of time. The field goal is good by Blake Groupie, so it is now a 17-6 ball game. 31 seconds left for New England to try to do something. They got 2 timeouts to work with. May runs out the pocket. He's going to find his way upfield, and he'll be taken down at the 47. He stepped out of bounds, so that will save them from having to use a timeout. It's a great play, great awareness by Drake Maye. 2nd and 10 at the 47. May's going to do it again. He'll go straight up the middle. He won't get a first. He'll be down, still in Saints territory. They're not going to call a timeout. Now they will. With under 10 seconds left to go, to try and kick a field goal and make it a 14-point game. And apparently, the refs are actually going to re-review this play. I'm not really sure why, but I guess they wanted to see if it was a first down or not. Which, does that really matter? I guess for the extra yards, make the kick a little bit easier. But, I mean, what they've done is for us, I don't think they would. I think the Saints are pandering towards the Patriots like they've been doing their entire life. But they do say it is a first down. It does put a little bit of time back on the clock. The Patriots have a little bit more leverage to make something happen. They won't. There's nice defense upfield. And after all that, the Patriots will kick the field goal anyways. It is a 50-plus yarder, but it doesn't matter as they'll make it. And it's now a 20-6 ball game. The Saints have only 7 seconds to maybe get down the field, maybe get a touchdown, maybe force a field goal. They have done it a few times before. Derek Carr, will run out the pocket. He'll manage out 5 yards, which leaves the Saints with with one more play, a second left, and they'll just hand this one off to Miller to get the first down. Maybe try to confuse the Patriots, but that will end the first half. The Saints getting dominated. 2 interceptions already for Carr, and the Patriots are up by double digits. It's not often you see the Saints in this scenario, and they've gone without a touchdown, which is the first time this year. Obviously, with this being a Thursday night game, none of the other games have really happened, but games that really catch my eye: the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans. Preston Kennedy gets his first look at Patrick Mahomes. The Bills and the Texans will be a pretty big one. Josh Allen versus CJ Stroud, AFC Championship potential matchup. The Cowboys and Vikings should be a pretty big one, if you ask me. And in my opinion, the Lions and Steelers, despite the Steelers playing very poorly, I think that's a pretty interesting matchup on paper if you just replace Justin Fields, who's been very inconsistent. In this game, it's all about the offense for the the Patriots, and the turnovers for the Saints. The Saints have to turn things around if they want to get back in this ball game. Lucky for them, they'll start with the ball first. And it's going to be a nice return to 31. As we'll get Derek Carr back on the field. He's got the 2 interceptions, as we already kind of mentioned, so he's got to do a little bit better with this ball vision. Both of them pretty bad throws. When the quarterback's in my hands, I make a lot of mistakes. That's breaking the 4th wall. It doesn't matter. 2nd and 10 now for Carr, looking for a running back screen for Miller, and he'll barely get the first down. It's nice speed on the defense. They'll move the chains. It's now 2nd and 8 for Carr. Carr to drop back to left side. That's Olave, who outruns the defender, puts a man on skates, and he reaches the 24-yard line. And that's what Chris Olave does. Chris Olave is going to make a big play and call him Big Play Olave. Does that sound right? I don't know. The 1st and 10 now for the Saints. They're in around the red zone. Carr's going to get sacked. Ran out of time. It didn't decide quick enough. It's Godshaw who gets the sack. 7 yards loss for Carr. Didn't make a decision quick enough. He had a room to run out the pocket, but I guess didn't see it. They'll hand this one off to Miller, and he only gets 2. Miller has had a very quiet game today, and it's been showing. 3rd and 15 now. The Saints kind of have to throw the football here, as they will. There's pressure coming at them, and not any time to make a decision on where to throw. And the defense for the Patriots holds out yet again, so it forces the Saints to have to kick a field goal. 40-plus yards out. The kick is good, so it's now 20-9. The Saints are still somewhat in it. There's a lot of football left to be played. The Patriots see their first time on the field in the second half, and it's a great breakaway for Drake Maye, who gets a first down and a lot more on the fake handoff attempt. Not often you see that in a team that's not the Ravens. Nice screen play to the right side as when they gain the 3 after Aaron Rodgers there to make the play. It's now 3rd and 7. Drake Maye running out of time. He breaks a tackle somehow and throws the ball away. That should have been a sack because pressure was all on him. which is a big play for the Saints because they do get the stop, but it probably should have been a sack if you ask me. He hands one off to Miller, and he loses one. He's not having a great day. Only 24 yards off of 10 attempts, the worst game he's had so far since really starting. And that forced the pass game to have to go to get a little bit heavier. That's a nice throw to Olave, who's already over 100 yards today. Forcing the ball to him a lot, but he's our star receiver, and we got to get back in this ball game. 20-9, play action fake. Carr's gonna throw it to left side, and that's picked off for the third time today. Marcus Jones. That's not a great throw. It's in double coverage, and he underthrew it. There was a flag on the play, but it was a legal man downfield on Eric McCoy, which the Patriots are gonna decline, which will ignore the penalty and just give them the interception. 2nd and 3, nice job by the receiver to force the defender off of him, and that results in the first down. I don't remember names all the time, alright people, you gotta forgive me, I'm not a commentator. I am today though. 2nd and 6, now for May, he's gonna throw it right up the middle, and that's another first down as the Patriots continue to torch this Saints defense. The Saints, one of the worst teams in defending the pass, and they've shown it here today. And that is a nice throw and catch for a touchdown. And that's surprisingly ended up in the end zone. That's Kayshon Boutte again. And now the Falcons, the Patriots are up 27-9 after the extra point is made. They're making their point here in the Superdome. Now Derek Carr trying to buy some time. He throws the ball away again for the 4th time today. Is it back to Marcus Jones, who has his second? And Marcus Jones there just jumps the route. Olave has a lead, but that's just better awareness. He's on his back foot. That's a terrible throw by Carr because at the end of the day, he just forces it. And that's interception number 4 for him today. That's not ideal. Now the Patriots get the ball back. 2nd and 10. 3 minutes left in the third. Wide open is Kayshon Boutte, who's in the end zone for the 3rd time today. And the Patriots, just like that, are up big. I don't know what happened on the defense. I think the defenders just bumped into each other, and someone just left them completely wide open. So a bit of a miscue. Is now 34-9 in favor of the Patriots. And the Saints will start with a handoff. Cam Ayers is actually going to make his regular season debut. Probably could have waited, but here's a big play by Madison, the biggest play we've had all day. It results in the first down. I don't know why it cuts off there, but it's 3rd and 7. Cam Ayers making his first throw actually, and it won't matter because he has to throw the ball away. His first throw results in an incompletion, and we kick a field goal, which probably is a dumb decision, but we got to put points on the board. It's now 34-12. We're down 22 with still a whole 4th quarter left. We've made strong comebacks this year, and maybe we believe the offense could do the same. We'll find out. May's got time in the pocket. He's going to find a man on the left side. That's Kendrick Bourne for another first down. May's got 4 touchdowns. 3 of them have been Kayshon Boutte. He's been killing us and torching us all day. Haven't played him all that well. 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, possibly the last play. There's a fumble, and he picks it right back up. And the Patriots luck out. The ball fell forward. Drake Maye never fell. So unfortunately, the Saints cannot force their first turnover of the game, and they're down huge. That would have been the turning point. Instead, it's still a 34-12 ball game with the whole 4th quarter left to go. The Patriots now sit at 3rd and 4. The Saints need a big stop to get something going. Hand off to Levy, and he shakes off a defender, and that's a first down. So they reset the downs. It's 1st and 10, using up a lot of clock. Hand off to Levy again. This time he loses 2. And Peyton Watson making a big play. I called him Pete Warner earlier. That's my bad. And now a jet sweep. Almost broke away, but the second effort by the defense forces only a 2-yard gain. It's now 4th and 10. And for the second time today, only second time, the Patriots have to punt the ball. And the Saints will decide not to return it. It goes out of bounds at the 7. And we did switch out Derek Carr. Cam Ayers now finds his way in the ball game again, making his season debut. Could this have come at a better time? Probably could have waited and just put Spencer Rattler in here instead. But here's his first completion. Nice throw up underneath for Miller. Doesn't result in much. The Patriots are holding their ground. They've only allowed 12 points. We're not a team that doesn't score a lot. We score a lot of points, and we're struggling here. Play action fake now for Ayers. He has to check it down, and a little bit overthrown. Him and Moreau not on the same page. It's now 3rd and 6. Ayers has to throw it again. He finds Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that will not result in a first down. But the Saints are going to opt to hurry up. Patriots not in great position. Handing off to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He'll get the first down, which keeps the drive alive. The Saints have to stay on offense. They have to get in the end zone pretty quick. Pressure coming at him, and he finds Olave on the left side. Nice contested catch that results in a first down. Chris Olave has been realistically the only savior in this game. Saints are running out of time with only 6 minutes left. Cam Ayers is going to make his way upfield, and he loses the football and is picked up by the defense. And on his first run attempt, it's a fumble. His first turnover of his career. And that's now, I believe, the 5th turnover of the game for the Saints. As the Patriots will come back in the field. Drake Maye has been torching us. His yard numbers aren't high, but he's been playing well. And as soon as I say that, he loses the football, and the Saints defense finally makes a big play, forces a turnover, and they'll get the ball back. Not a lot of time left to work with, but that's something. Lost the football, clearly a fumble. Maybe running a little bit too much, getting a little bit confident. 2nd and 7 with 4 minutes left. Play action fake now for Cam Ayers, and that's the same mistake we made earlier. Marcus Jones picks it off for the 3rd time. He breaks the tackle. No one's fast enough to catch him, and that's a pick 6 for Jones and the Patriots. And any hope we had of cutting into this deficit is gone. That's now the 6th turnover today by the Saints. And the offense comes back in the field. Derek Carr back in the game. Handing off to Edwards-Helaire. One of the best plays we've had all game. As we're getting thrashed, and the turnovers is a big part of it. 41-12 with a little over 3 minutes left to go in this game. The play action fake. Carr trying to buy some time. Goes downfield for Levert. That's overthrown. Hit by Gonzalez. Not ruled a flag or anything. He'll find Levert up the middle, but that's no good as he couldn't haul it in. It's now 4th and 10, and the game is essentially over. You have to go for it at this point. 4th and 10. Carr's going to have to throw it to the right side. That is picked off again for the 5th time by Carr, and the 7th turnover overall. Gonzalez is going to run the race. No one's going to catch him, and it's another pick 6 thrown by the Saints. And if you definitely thought this game still had an opportunity for the Saints, it doesn't. It's now 7 turnovers combined for the Saints. Cam Ayers comes back on the field. It's 48-12 with a little over 2 minutes left to go. And it's another interception. The 4th by Marcus Jones, the 2nd by Ayers, and the 8th turnover overall by the Saints. And this game is essentially over. Now, in all honesty, I was actually dreading recording this game. I skipped the rest of it. New England did end up only kicking a field goal. We did end up finally getting a touchdown in this game to Chris Olave, which is also Ayers' first career touchdown, but it's a little bittersweet as we lose 51-18. We tried for a 2-point conversion. It didn't pan out. And this is a game I dreaded editing and realistically dreaded showing off, but We lose big time, 51-18. 8 total turnovers, 7 of them being interceptions, 5 of them coming from Derek Carr. And we just didn't give ourselves any favors in this game. Kendra Miller struggled a lot in this ball game. He didn't even eclipse 50 yards on the ground. Olave was realistically our only saving grace in this game, as we got torched on both sides of the football. The protection was pretty heavy. Marcus Jones with 4 interceptions in this game. He showed out with great coverage on Chris Olave. And with her Carr, that's now 16 interceptions on the year, which unfortunately ties for the most with Lawrence House. He came to this game having the second most, and now he's tied for the most just like that. And as for the turnover difference, that puts us well below the bottom by a huge margin. Look at the games around the league. The Buffalo Bills end up taking down the Houston Texans. They have not bought a win since acquiring Ryan Ramczyk, and they're struggling, but they're still second in the AFC South, I believe. Don't quote me on that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a low-scoring affair, 19-7 win over Brandon Monroe and the Jets. The Buccaneers are finding a little bit of their stride, and the Jets haven't really found themselves quite in the win column as of yet. Green Bay Packers take on the Cincinnati Bengals, where they would, of course, lose, because there's no way this team is beating them. Good win for Baltimore, for the Bengals. The Cleveland Browns actually take down the Baltimore Ravens, who come to this game leading the AFC. It's a big win for Cleveland, who could potentially make some noise in the AFC North, especially with the Steelers having quite the struggle. The Browns have a lot of work to do, and it starts here. One of the big games that I mentioned, Kansas City pretty much thrashes Tennessee. 4 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. Preston Kennedy didn't play all that well. His completion percentage was fine, but the numbers weren't exactly there for him. The Dallas Mavericks end up getting torched by Colin Anthony and the and the Vikings. 2 turnovers by Colin Anthony, but it doesn't matter when you're winning. And the Vikings get a huge win against a potential NFC contender. The Falcons end up beating the Dolphins in this one. After the Dolphins win last week, they lose the next week. And look at the standings. The 49ers and the Ravens are atop the entire league, 7-1. The Bills and the Cowboys are right there. They're 6-1. The Chiefs currently sit 5-2. They're always going to be up there in the race. And we're no longer really at the top of the top. We're still in the top 10, but after those last 2 games, you kind of question how we're still there. The Browns have a slight lead on the Bengals right now in the AFC North. It's always a close race in the AFC South. The Bills are well beyond the lead in the AFC East. Same with the Chiefs in the AFC West. I don't realistically think that anyone's going to catch them. The Chargers have fallen below the Broncos, however, as you look back at the standings as well. For the NFC, the Lions currently lead the NFC North. The Vikings are right there, but they flipped. That's the last time he looked. The Bears are looking terrible. The Falcons now hold the lead in the NFC South after we had it for majority of the year. We're currently number 2. The Buccaneers sit at 3, and the Panthers are trying to figure it all out. For the NFC East, the Cowboys currently lead. They have the best record in the NFC right now, but the Eagles are right there, the defending champs. And we didn't look at the NFC South for some reason, but that'll do it for episode 9, I believe. I'm probably wrong. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I certainly didn't. Tell all your friends. Next time we're going to be playing against the Falcons for the second and last time potentially of the year. And we got a lot to look at as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Tell all your friends, tell your family, make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment for anything you want to see in terms of any new content. I'll see you guys next time.